area needs to be sanitized, somebody needs to check it up, and because you were completely unprepared for the event of 26/11 and you were unprepared for what followed. It was as if 26/11 didn't happen. And then today, 6 years later, how much have we changed? When Mr. Chidambaram took over as Home Minister, he made a 3-point program that we will have an agency and we will have an intelligence cell, which is the natural sharing of intelligence. Typically, so the hierarchy of needs is first try and find out what's happening, terror happening, attack happening, whatever. Second point is to have a force to counter the terror. And the third in the hierarchy should be an agency to investigate. But the political establishment in India has an inverted mindset. So first they set up the agency to investigate what happens after that. The counter-terror organization that was promised is still somewhere there in the... Luckily the local hubs have been put, city police have been given additional training, and the NAT was stalled for nearly 2.5 years by ministers within a government which was responsible largely for all the gaps, and chief ministers who argued on the need for privacy. So in all the 3 steps that Chidambaram mentioned, there are major gaps. Now, specifically to Mumbai, and Mr. Manchura is here, and I'm sure we'll happily take questions as to how prepared we are. But in 2011, there was another attack. And what did we discover in that attack? That the communication system, dedicated system between the Mantralaya and the forces was not getting. The 24/7 emergency health system was not functioning. So we will constantly see the political establishment falling behind. And it is only if the society reacts, responds to these issues and engages the political establishment that we will have some change. So have the bulletproof vests been bought? No. Have the CCTVs been installed? No. Have the boards, are they operational, the postal? Partially, yes. So what is the relevance of Sandeep's book today, Black Tornado? Is that we need to wait, that we need to engage the political establishment, that we need to have a better sense of awareness of what has happened. I mean, Americans are filing class action suits. What has India done in terms of those who drew the blueprint of this attack? Have we got anywhere there? So there are the stories about shawls being exchanged and stuff like that, but we don't see any movement on bringing the real culprits to court. So again, that's why Sandeep's book is good.
Over 160 men, women, children, tourists, and in that outrage, a lot of men, women, a lot of unusual people were thrown into this catastrophe that they had unleashed. Some remarkable people. They were remarkable stories of survival. So people who laid down their lives to protect people. They were in uniform. Some of them were in uniform. Some were in khaki. Some were in the black uniforms of the NLG. Some were in the camouflage patterns of the Marine Commandos. All of them worked as one to thwart these terrorists. And one of those people was Major Sandeep. Now, I didn't know him personally, but we shared space on the cell phone of a common friend, and between 2006 and 2008, this friend would keep calling me, thinking that I was Major Sandeep, and likewise. And this continued for a while, And I said, I must meet this friend of yours. You know, I've heard so much about him. And then on one Friday, his friend calls back. He's an army officer, and he was in tears. And he says, you know, the friend that I told you about, he just died today. And that to me was actually the start point of my book. When I actually started finding out more about him. And he was a remarkable person. He was someone who was almost like the glue that held this unit, this very unusual unit called 51 SAG, the National Security of the National Security Guard, which were flown in from Delhi to conduct these operations at these three cities. And that was the beginning of this journey of discovery that started almost 6 years back. And in a sense, now it's come full circle. And we're sitting here in Mumbai again 6 years later. The journey has come to an end almost. And I'm actually again delighted that Mr. Unnithan and Mr. Unnithan could be here to join me for the release of this book. And when I was researching this book, I actually spoke to one of Major Unnithan's friends, a young major, and he told me, Sandy, we're not afraid of death, you know, because we wear something called the Balidan badge. This orange, this red commando badge on our chest, which basically means that we've already been sacrificed for the country. We are already martyrs. We've already been given up for death. For us, what matters is the nature of our death. What did we achieve?
I've had first-hand experience with the troop commandant, and things happened there. We wanted credit for such things. If I speak that cannot be right after 6 years. The DG of NSC, the main problem with NSC was, as I understood, was 51 SAG is the business squad of the army. 52 SAG is the squad for the attack. And BSF, CRPF, police, what there are deputations from all the places. And it's a unit, people live there for about 1.5 years, 2 years, they disperse off. And they are trained. No, these are not my observations, it's not official. So we have a good memorial in Taj, and we have a very good memorial service at Portland. But Maharashtra Police celebrates 26/11 or commemorates 26/11 the morning hours of 26. The morning of 26/11, nothing had happened. Mumbai was quite normal. Everything happened in the evening. Why they are celebrating 26/11 on the morning? So the relevance is evident. You know, I have visited the Chabad households. The father of the market, that Jew person was there, and then somebody introduced that he's ministry with his father. So they thought that this man knows him. See, what I'm talking about is, there is no coordination between minds, even in Mumbai, the place called. I agree on all terms. We cannot have foolproof arrangements for avoiding the risk. It is in the minds of the people. Who was responsible? Can you imagine that 10 people just came from Karachi and then did all these things? I still believe that there was total ground support for them, and then why it was not wrong. Once I was attending a Sahara function, they had given us a financial assistance and somebody in the audience, he spoke that why did Khatri go there? Told him to go there. And they put all eggs in one basket and dropped it. That was the reaction coming from the public, because they were not known about it. I could not tolerate it. In my brief discussion, I said that Hemant Khatri went there because he was a chief. the presence of him there itself, see, he could have stayed somewhere in the headquarters and then controlled the action. He went there. Why are they not appreciating that? Some people, see, in my son's case also, in his case also, people used to say that, why did he go up alone? He had support. But see, you cannot change the mindset of people. So what I say is that, let us imagine or think that there is no remedy for terrorism. If somebody is hell-bent on doing something wrong, you cannot stop them. We cannot prevent them. See, we can go after them and then chase something. That also we are not doing properly. That's what
people all over India, I will say, they are very apprehensive to see what happened. They don't want to see. Definitely the awareness but visually, I mean, in terms of film, I think it's very difficult for them, which they have witnessed, which they have seen live for 3 to 4 days continuously, everybody was glued to television. I think that's what really completely them taken aback. Watch it real, make it real. And I don't think there should be a debate on this. I don't think, yeah, definitely the awareness has to be there from the government, from the people, from like-minded people. But to make a film completely on 26 level, I think it's definitely too much to people. People is very close. We lost people, friends, relatives, friends, so many people. Anybody, it could be me and you also. People, Taj, and suddenly somebody coming and shooting randomly. I think something which definitely.
But don't you think that, I mean, I just want to talk, after 9/11, they made movies honoring those who took down the flight. They made all movies honoring ladder for the firemen. So some of this needs to happen, you know, and why does it
All the sacrifice, wonder of people have done so much that definitely that insight has to be there. It can be coming up with the sacrifice which has been made, but that has to be there. But yeah, there are two different things. One is what the honoring people for sacrifice in the country and to make something what happened during that. There are two different things.
It was a free-for-all virtually. The NSG was conducting its operation, and the Taj was like a great Indian wedding. People were coming and they were going, and you had all manners of agencies. There was no single one-point person to coordinate and say, this is what needs to be done. You know, this is where we have to move the people. This is how we're going to debrief them. This is how we're going to, you know, the areas that have been cleared. This is how we're going to secure them. All that. It was just a small group of the 51 SAG. It's a very small unit. It's not a full-size battalion. It's about 300, 400 troopers. And they're looking at an area of, I'm talking of only the Taj, just near the Taj. It's about 1,100 rooms, which they have to physically clear. These 200, 300 people, they have to clear it, and then they have to hold it, and they have to pronounce that it's clear, there are no terrorists inside. So it's basically like this gigantic cat and mouse game that was going on for almost 2 or 3 days. And let's not forget that they had to first pull the civilians out and to extricate them, and only then the counter-terrorist operation. The search and destroy as they were. So now there's another view. I was there in Israel last week, and it so happens that this hotel, the Savoy Hotel, which opened the chapter called the Wednesday. I was staying just 100 meters away from the Savoy, and I went down there and I met someone. And I was talking to them about the Savoy Hotel. They have this lovely plaque memorial there which commemorates this attack which took place almost 40 years back. And the manager there told me that, yeah, you know, when we heard of the attack on Mumbai, we immediately thought of the Savoy Hotel attack. This is very similar. You had terrorists coming in a rubber boat, they landed on the beach, they walked into the hotel, hostages, and they blew the top of the hotel, right? And they killed a lot of the hostages. Only one terrorist survived, exactly like just one terrorist survived. He says that we handled one Savoy Hotel attack, but how did we handle 5 Savoy Hotel attacks simultaneously? We have no idea. So, I mean, you have to run
and share. So appreciate the limitations here. But post 26/11, what happens with counter-terrorism or intelligence agencies is everywhere, not only here. A lot of work is done, but agencies tend to work in silos and not in a grid fashion. Terrorism doesn't know boundaries. The internet is used. They don't respect, that this is Mumbai and that is Thane, or this is Maharashtra and that is Gujarat. So, whereas my boundary ends where Maharashtra ends, the terrorist does not recognize that. So, the reason why they work in silos, there are historical reasons, there's a lot of competition, there's a lot of, kind of wanting to, be the first past the post and all that kind of thing. But those silos have been broken down, and now there are systemic changes which have taken place, where sharing of information, especially actionable intelligence, takes place. There is something called a multi-agency center in the government of India, where all the agencies which are involved in counter-terrorism or collection of intelligence are involved. And you will be surprised that it could involve not only things like, say, the NSG or the ATS or, the Force One, but even something like the Directorate of Revenue Intelligence or the Customs, because even they could pick up things, or the Enforcement Directorate, which deals with Hawala and, that kind of thing, because they could also pick up things which may not have significance for them in their core functioning, but it could have significance for anti-terrorism operations. So this has been, systematized, and there is a lot of sharing of information which takes place. And I think, like I said, it has been a watershed event. We have learned, of course we have learned, but you'd be surprised at the number of counter-terrorist agencies from all over the world who have come down to Mumbai after 26/11 to learn. The Americans have come, the British have come, the Europeans have come, the Japanese have come, the Australians have come. And they have come because they have never seen this kind of thing before, and they want to harden their own targets and make sure that this doesn't happen in any coastal city in the world. They don't want it to happen, in New York, which is a coastal city. They don't want it to happen in the south of France. They don't want it to happen in any of the Japanese cities, or in Brisbane, or any of the coastal cities. So, they have also all learned, and we have gained from each other. Constable, when we talk about counter-terrorism, the beat constable's utility is really to pick up information which is, something which is odd, something out of the ordinary. A new person is, hanging around some vital installation. A new tenant which, nobody knows about, he doesn't come out of his room for days. Odd activity like that. So, yes, the beat constable has been sensitized for this kind of thing.
I think it is very much the need of us.
Yeah. Because one way is,
Yeah.
take it to the next generation, what happened.
बहुत अच्छा लगा मुझे यहाँ पे आके। संदीप जिन्होंने बुक लिखी मेरे अच्छे मित्र हैं, काफ़ी सालों से उनको जानता हूँ मैं। और एक बुक मेरे ख्याल से ये जो 26/11 पे है, हर मुंबईकर को, हर हिंदुस्तानी को इतना अवेयर करेगी। और मैं बहुत उम्मीद से ये बुक पढ़ने वाला हूँ, और मेरी बहुत बहुत शुभकामनाएं।
26/11 को जान के मतलब सुनते ही सबकी आंखों में पानी आ जाता है।
पानी आता है डेफिनेटली, क्योंकि ऐसी घटना है जो हमारा पूरा मुंबई के लोग पूरा हिंदुस्तान उसको बोल नहीं सकता, जिन्होंने 4 दिन टेलीविजन में देखा, तो डेफिनेटली एक ऐसा धक्का हमारे जहन में जाके बैठने के बाद वो हम कभी नहीं भूल सकते। ऐसी घटना ना हो, ऐसी चीज़ें ना हो, बस हम यही प्रार्थना करते हैं ऊपर वाले से, हमारा देश, हमारा मुंबई जो है हमेशा ही अच्छा रहे।
सर, इन चीज़ों पे बेस्ड कोई मूवी बना के या पिक्चर्स को या बुक्स को लॉन्च करके क्या आपको लगता है चेंजेस आ पाएंगे?
डेफिनेटली आ पाएंगे। मेरा तो बुक जो है वो अवेयर करेगा लोगों को, कहीं पता चलेगा कि क्या चीज़ें होनी चाहिए, क्या नहीं होनी चाहिए, ऐसी कई चीज़ें मेरे ख्याल से सामने आ जाएंगी। थैंक यू।
Well, this is a book that should have, that would not have been written if there had been an inquiry commissioned by the government. So my point is, again, there are 2 things that the government can do. It's still not too late. You need to institute a commission of inquiry and find out what exactly happened, what the responses of the central forces were, why there was an intelligence failure. And the second point about writing this book is that there is no memorial. As one guest present here today said, that the state government has not raised a memorial for the dead, the 165 people who died that night in one of the worst terrorist attacks on Indian soil, do not have a memorial where people can go, people like you and me can go and remember them. So this is one of the main reasons that I wrote this book. I'm from Mumbai, man. I've lived 25 years in this city. I've a lot of places that were attacked, I've literally grown up seeing. So, I mean, for me, that questioning, this questioning began. How did things come to such a pass? How did we completely miss this? How did we allow these terrorists to come and attack us in our homes, kill our people, and go away with such impunity? I hope that even if it even raises some questions in the government's minds, that there was something that was seriously wrong, there was a systemic failure that needed to be probed and not swept under the carpet, I would think that it would be mission accomplished for my book. Thank you. Thanks very much.